Hello everyone, my name is Yueh-Jung Lee. I am a PhD student in the School of Arts, Technology, and Image Communication at the University of Texas at Dallas. The paper that I am presenting today is titled On Interactive Fish in Posthuman Ethical Design, a Human-nonhuman Relationship Through the Lens of Taoist-Posthumanism. I hope you will enjoy it. Historically, humans and non-humans are constantly in tension. For example, humans often take great offense when being compared to animals, machines, artificial intelligence, and now smart assistants. Also, the ownership is often a taken for granted assumption for Western white male, human-centered thinkers. Examples include colonizer versus native populations, employers versus employees, and the government versus citizens, and human in general versus natural resources. In a sense, non-humans become both weapons and victims between human warfare. For example, a killer drone is both a killer and an object being manipulated as a killer. However, they need not be the case. In the posthuman era, what counts as ethical has dispersed and redistributed to a non-human-centered network that includes non-human species and non-living matter. In this paper, computer-simulated fish as the combination of fish and computer are respectively non-human species and non-living matter. They make it possible to bridge and transfer a posthuman computer relationship to a human-non-human relationship in a larger sense eventually. So the diagram in the corner is my conceptual model of this research. You can see the lenses here and the posthuman computer, and eventually to a human-non-human relationship. So I start from small. In the context of advanced technology, I argue that the cultural, societal, economic, and existential frictions are resulted from systemic dysfunction in human-computer relationships, not human-computer interaction, but relationships from a psychological perspective concerning philosophies, religions, and human values. So perhaps we can think, what about a posthuman computer relationship, which will be the foundation of their interaction afterwards? So this work has the main goal of recalibrating human relationship with others, in this case fish, with three objectives. Number one, abolish the concept of ownership and limiting human factors in the human-fish interaction. And second, develop an experimental design in flow. And third, make possible a mutually beneficial relationship or partnership, if you will. Accordingly, the overarching research question are, how could a human-non-human relationship look like through the lens of Taoist posthumanism, and how to design such a relationship beginning posthuman computer relationship. Also, how to design a mutually beneficial interactive system with limited human-initiated interaction. The theoretical framework of this research draws on three philosophies: posthumanism, Taoism, and Contractualism. For posthumanism, Bradati states that posthuman ethics urge us to endure the principle of not one at the in-depth structures of our subjectivity by acknowledging the ties that bind us to the multiple others in the vital web of complex interrelations. For Taoism, it is believed that the human ideal lies in being accord with all living things. The flow is intrinsically rewarding rather than tied to any future goal or benefit. Although we won't get into constructualism in this presentation, but as a glimpse, philosopher Skinlon defines his constructualism in this way: an act is wrong if its performance under the circumstances will be disallowed by any set of principles for the general regulation of behavior that no one could reasonably reject. So given the above, I call for posthuman ethical design and develop a public interactive project, Not My Fish, with two major design components on interactive interaction and human experience. The on-interactive interaction refers to the design of flow, which reduces human factors in the interaction to the minimum. On the other hand, human experience indicating an abolishment of the ideas of human as user and non-human as object, as in subject-object dualism. So Not My Fish starts in December 2021 with Public Interactives Research Lab in the School of EdTech at UT Dallas. The project inherits the theme and elements from its precursor associated with different names, led by Professor Heidi Cooley since 2008. So what's new in this version is that it's an experimental project developed in a healthcare setting aiming to recalibrate human relationship with non-humans and see if it benefits humans in any aspect. To do so, the project takes a radical approach different from conventional care bots and detaches fish from direct human interaction and ownership, hence the name Not My Fish. So under Yueh-Jung's interpretation, the Taoist thinking of the flow is the art of living from Master Zhuang, one of the founders of Taoism. For him, flow experience is autotelic, meaning it has a purpose in itself. And because the human ideal lies in being accord with all living things, it aligns pretty much with the concept of a post-human and suggests a natural, unprocessed way of living. Our challenge in this project, therefore, is to design the interaction as a non-uninteractive interaction. So, because the word user implies a power hierarchy in the human-computer interaction and a kind of experience that tends to mischaracterize both technology and people. Therefore, interactive interaction deprives the role and ranking of the conventional user. Human experience here refers to how human interactors experience an interaction, an interface, and the surrounding environment. So flow refers to the art of human living with non-humans in this research. For humans to live in accord with other living things means to find the rhythm and patterns in harmony with others. More specifically, their actions, behaviors, emotional patterns, and living schedules should be compatible and symphonious with others. Due to the research scope, I simplified the flow and extracted from 4 aspects: ecological flow, sensory flow, social flow, and data flow. Ecological flow concerns the physical surroundings of the human-fish interaction. Since environmental condition will affect both a person and a fish's activity, we can design the parameter corresponding to both humans and fish. So, for humans and fish, the shared environment could consider factors such as temperature, oxygen level, and pH level. For instance, given that a temperature of 70 to 80 degrees is suitable for a human and 65 to 75 degrees is good for fish, any temperature can be calculated to a corresponding value and affects the shared ecological condition. Sensory flow concerns physical senses and perception. In addition to the 5 senses of humans, Fish has a unique sensory organ called the lateral line that can sense movement, vibration, and pressure gradients in water. Considering the shared senses in a healthcare facility, a human fish-friendly environment is formed when a patient has a good meal and sleeping schedule, keeps the room quiet yet active, and avoids extreme movement such as yowling, jumping, and pounding. Social flow is the only flow that humans can directly interact with fish. Regarding their social behavior, some shared action include looking at, approaching, touching, chasing, feeding, following, and hiding. However, social flow is strictly limited to reducing human factor in the interaction. Under the design of interactive interaction, the social flow will be overridden by other flows. For example, even if a person keeps feeding a fish, the fish will ignore the person if the fish is not hungry and the environment surrounds the person is unsuitable. Finally, data flow refers to the technical memory load and data life cycle. The data of human-fish interaction will be kept within a reasonable period, which is long enough to develop a partnership and short enough to allow other flows to take hold of or take over the interaction. Moreover, the data life cycle should follow ethical principles to be carefully collect, preserve, and destroy the data afterwards. So, although the project is based on a healthcare setting, I didn't really discuss conventional benefits in a human caring system, such as community engagement and social wellness. And the reason is twofold. First, since a flow experience is intrinsically rewarding, a healthy living pattern will improve the foundation for physical and mental activities. In Western language, it suggests mind-body recalibration in the long run. Second, the framing itself is an affirmative action toward posthuman thinking by not falling into, again, the language of assistive technology serving human well-being. Regardless, a posthuman-centered project doesn't mean that it won't benefit humans. On the contrary, just because it focuses on the alignment of humans and the others, it creates a more profound and lasting impact. So I want to discuss how the participating parties could form a mutually beneficial partnership here. As I mentioned before, in a healthcare setting, one can go with the flow by simply taking care of oneself, considering the four aspects of the flow: taking care of one's surroundings, physical actions, social behaviors, and maintaining the habits is pretty much the same thing as taking care of oneself in Taoist thinking. The reward is intrinsic and internal. One goes with the flow, builds a healthier way of living, and gets on with life in the company of others. In this way, individuals engage their community and their social wellness is improved. For computer-simulated fish, the pros are relatively metaphysical. Under the interactive interaction, fishes are not owned by humans, nor should they care for humans. They simply live their lives with or without human interference. The message is clear. Whether a fish interacts with a person depends on whether a person's living pattern is in harmony with the others. The fish is only a part of the others. This detachment, in a way, returns the agency to fish and computer and empowers them in a posthuman computer relationship. However, the boundary between virtuality and reality poses another challenge. That is, how computer-simulated fish could benefit the physical fish by the project is in question. For this, our initial thought is to include fish-related education or preservation non-profit organization into the system to benefit physical fish. Using a non-profit-oriented experimental approach is also a core value of posthumanism against capitalism. But finally, institutional partners seems to be situated in an even more inconspicuous position. The uninteractive interaction could quickly raise questions by healthcare facilities regarding business model, the incentive for participation, and the effective caring, since it doesn't directly engage their patients as other interactive technologies do. However, the caring component is not absent. It works in a rather discursive way. People learn to take care of themselves and their well-being is improved by their own actions, which is a huge difference from Western thinking of discipline and control. For the NPOs, the expected result is equally discursive, because shaping the way humans interact with digital fish doesn't guarantee that hierarchy and ownership will change in real life, but one can hope that this is one small step toward a more posthuman ethical society. So here are the references of this presentation. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening.